And we're starting. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 43 of The Sit Down. Today we have a special episode for you because unless you're a Patreon subscriber, or unless you heard that episode where she's in the background,
Coughing?
I'm dying.
Got a bad cough.
Yeah, you haven't. We got Deborah on today. The
Hi.
lovely
guest.
Deborah Brooks, a special guest. It's a big get that we've been trying to have on the show
Right,
for a long
yeah.
time.
Well, I
Yeah.
have high standards.
Yeah, so Deb's here to talk to us about now. We're a crime podcast, and I'm going to enjoy this episode because we want to talk about something that is particularly. We haven't really taken a deep dive into this since we've done the show. We want to talk about psychopaths and sociopaths. We want to talk about the psychological aspect behind these people. You know.
Yeah.
And this all started, so Matt and I are always, well, more me. Matt's usually high.
Yeah.
Well, look
Not
at how happy he is.
Deep in thought.
He's usually high and getting pegged by Shelby.
Are you watching?
Watching
You
what?
watching the pegging? That's what she's
Yeah,
asking.
just for research.
Because, I mean, you know about it,
For
so.
research purposes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know about all that.
Mike still has this cough. We were at a show in Maryland, and he, did his last joke, and he's like, whatever, my throat's scratchy. Good night, guys. And, gets off the stage.
Yeah.
Yep, I did my time.
You're 7 days removed smoking?
Yeah.
Oof.
But he, before was not smoking for quite a long time and then smoked heavily. Like how a heroin addict, they don't do heroin, and then when they relapse, they do the same amount of heroin as they did before they stopped. They don't ease their way in, and they overdose.
Right.
And that's what Mike did. He just, went full, chain smoker.
Well, I just wish there was, a substitute for smoking that looked as cool as smoking.
Right.
And you could just, and didn't, hurt. Why hasn't that...
But can I tell you something?
I don't know. Maybe
Let's
candy
start
cigarettes.
Let's start vaping.
Wait, can I tell you something?
No, I said. Well, yeah.
You really don't look cool when you smoke.
Me?
You do this, weird, really weird, suck-in thing.
Yeah, that is true. We all kind of picture Don Draper.
Yeah, and I just look like a monkey who's learning how to do it.
Yeah.
For the first time. I'm like a gorilla at the zoo. They taught one sign language and they taught the other one to smoke.
Yeah, I don't know if you inhale or if you just suck it to the back of your throat and then push it back out.
Yeah. Your cheeks puff
You're
up. You just hold the smoke in your cheeks.
I heard that I hold a cigarette like this. It's yeah.
Yeah, you do
Yeah.
a bit.
I'm me no want to learn sign language.
But also it's you didn't grow up around, everyone in my family smoked, so I had, a lot of model behavior, whereas no one in your family smoked, and so, you didn't have a role model, to teach you how to look cool when you smoke.
Right.
So that's all.
Yeah, you're supposed to hold it like a joint, Mike.
No, like Danny Zuko would.
Supposed to put it in your ear after it's lit.
And then, keep the box in your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, so we comb YouTube a lot, and we stumbled across this video. It's an old video of Diane Sawyer interviewing Sammy the Bull Gravano, and it's it's really interesting. You guys should check it out. And the funny thing about it is, you watch this guy, and you're like, this is a true psychopath. This guy was clearly born this way, and it's even funny how in the interview he makes efforts to act like he didn't want to be this person. He goes, yeah, it was I did a lot of very bad things. And this is a guy who was probably a bigger psychopath than most other people that we've talked about.
See, I don't think he was a psychopath.
What do you think he was, Deb?
I think he was more like a sociopath with a mob mentality, a brain, somebody. He attributed his actions to similarly. He's consider me a soldier in Vietnam. All those people killed people. I did. I was loyal. I followed orders. Which is
That is
a
true.
rationalization, but
Yeah.
he he doesn't say like, well, I liked the way it felt to have my finger on the trigger and put that gun against the guy's head and know that he was going to be lifeless. Like, he was like, if someone was going to die, I wanted to do it because I wanted to be like very surprising and quick and painless. Whereas, like, everything else you watch on a psychopath, they're like, because I wanted to know if it was going to really hurt.
Yeah, he was like the opposite of that German guy we were watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like maybe he like wanted to use it to increase his reputation, you know?
Well, all of it seems like, because I watched the whole...
Wait, we should probably bring this up because we're gonna be calling this back a few times during this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We did watch a video. It was like the top 5 psychopaths
Right.
on YouTube. And one, you guys probably remember this story because I vaguely remember this story from a few years ago, but these 2 German men met on a website of like a volunteer website, and the guy was like, I want to eat people.
You heard this before?
I
had not.
I was vaguely familiar with it. I just remember people talking about
caught off guard. I did not ever have any sort of frame of reference or
Really?
could have predicted that's where it
that
was
just
going.
shows you how different our lives were. In like 2010, you were like in grad school, like learning how to help kids, and I was like, man eats other man's penis. I was like, oh, I gotta check this out.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I just found out, but number 2 scared me more than number 4.
9/11 was an inside job.
Yeah, Mike has to watch. So the video is called 5 Most Chilling Interviews Caught on Tape Ever.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
anyway, just to bring this up as a little reference point, there was a guy who, there was a guy on a website who was like, I want to be eaten, and then another guy was like, I want to eat someone. So there really is someone for everybody, because the 2 men met up, and the one guy ate the guy's dick.
He was just like, he just said to me, it's got to go, take it off. So he just like ripped off his penis.
Flaccid, we assume.
Yeah. No, he said he was able to get through the flesh, so I think he bit it off. Yeah, I think he bit off the penis. And then he's like, cut it in half. And then he's like, okay, so the guy said, cut my penis in half, so he did it. And then he went to the kitchen to prepare it, and the guy's like, I prepared it rather quickly because I thought with such a big wound he would die quick.
they're like selecting jurors for the case, and some black guy's like, man, this is some gay shit. Like, he totally just ignores the fact that a guy's penis got eaten.
Yeah, and I just had to go to jury duty today, and they ask you over and over again, like, is there anything
Have you ever eaten
that
a penis?
Yeah.
Is there anything that can make you like not make it a unbiased opinion about the circumstances of this case? So like you might
And
be
Deb was like, well, I hate...
No, I did not say that.
You told them about your uncle,
because they say, you know, when I call your name, tell me which neighborhood you live in Brooklyn. Like, no, he's like, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Which neighborhood do you live in? And then I'm like, Bed-Stuy. And then he says, do you have children? No. What is your marital status? Single. Are you currently working? Yes. And then they're like, what do you do? And I said, I'm a speech pathologist, and I'm the only one in my school, so I'm not sure I could serve a month of jury duty because then these kids won't get speech therapy. And then they were like, next, and they moved on to the next person. And then like they didn't even care. He was so dismissive, and I was like, shit, I'm stuck here. But then he was like, now I'm going to ask the rest of the questions and just pose them to the jury. And the questions were like, do you know anyone? No, has anyone in your family been arrested or convicted of a crime? So arrested or convicted, even if they were not guilty. And then they're like, anyone. And then they're like, no one. And then people start raising their hand. And I'm like, and then when everyone explains what it was, and then it was my turn. And then they're like, has anyone been arrested in your family? And I'm like, I'm sure. And then he's like, do you know, or are you speculating?
Yes, they've been arrested, and they hate the law.
So this is like kind of like you're like performing. How many? Like everybody's listening to you tell your story.
Listening to me.
It's like you could go and do stand up.
Yeah, but half your uncles are cops.
That was another question too. Like they were like, is anyone in your family a part of law enforcement? And everyone's like, my distant cousin, my friend, and I'm like, everyone is a cop or a firefighter, or they were one of each. And so I think that's why they also didn't want me. Because they don't want anybody who thinks like all cops are good or all cops are bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were like, they're like, are you speculating or do you know? And I was like, I know someone's been arrested, but like, I don't know all the details. And they're like, well, what do you know? And I was like, well, my uncle stole a boat and took it to the Statue of Liberty. And I'm like pretty confident he got arrested for that. And then the whole courtroom just started laughing. I don't know. But he took Uncle Stevie with him too. And then I was like, should I keep going? And then I was like, what was I going to say next? And I was like, my uncle, he had all of his kids at Willowbrook. It was like there was a soccer game and there's a merry-go-round there that was like shut down, and he's an electrician who liked to drink beers. So after a couple beers, he just rewired the merry-go-round so that the kids can ride on it because they were like, I don't know, wanted to play. And I think he got arrested for that.
For just helping out some kids. Fucking dirty government. Yeah. It is kind of funny though. I mean, at least with like crime, there is a certain level of accountability for the people that you kill. Like you have to answer for that, and then like you can be like John McCain probably dropped a ton of bombs on Vietnamese people and killed a bunch of people, and it's like he's like a hero.
Right.
Yeah.
So
but
who's
it's like
really
all out of loyalty.
He's a
It's
war
like
hero.
You're serving your country.
War hero. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though he got captured. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. That made Deb love Trump when I told her that story.
That's not okay. It's not even a benign violation.
Deb's a closet Trump supporter.
I am not. But that was just really
Look
funny.
how
Can you
her face-
reenact?
Look how her face lit up when I said Trump.
Can you reenact? Yeah, watch. I'll say something that makes your face light up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we all watched about Sammy the Bull. I watched like 6 videos on him, actually.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I know his whole life.
What did you glean?
So
from
wait. So like, we already go over the difference between the psychopath and sociopath.
Well, let's talk about Sammy the Bull a little bit. So let's like, I don't know. There was something about him where he's so cold and and just like, I don't know. You feel like this is who he is, and maybe he was probably born that way. I don't think he was. I don't think there were external factors that made him that way. And one thing they did say in a video that I watched was that a sociopath is made and a psychopath is like born. They think psychopaths are it might be a gene or something.
Right. Like, well, they say they have like less gray matter in their brain, and like they have definitely like biological and neurological differences. Then like if you did an fMRI study, which means like it's a functional MRI, so you could see how the brain is active like during activity. You can see like where the areas of activation in the brain are when they're like going through a task. So like if you show a typically developing normal human being a series of violent pictures, then certain like areas of their brain are going to light up because like the fear component or like the worry or disgust. But it may be like a psychopath could look at that, and like the pleasure centers might light up. You know?
Yeah, they say
They enjoy
psychopaths
that.
don't really get afraid.
Yeah, the fearfulness.
So you got to spot them before they understand society. You know, when they're like fucking birds up when they're like a kid, or
Well, so then that's the other thing that's different, because most of the time an individual who's a psychopath, they have gone through a significant amount of like trauma and like
A psychopath or a sociopath?
a psychopath went through like developmentally, like if you were going to like the Erikson theories of like development, and in the first stage it's like trust and mistrust, and as an infant you learn whether or not you can trust another human because your whole life is dependent on them. Like if you're dropped or if you're neglected or if you're not fed, then you won't like develop into an individual who's able to trust another person. Also, we learn love through like eye contact. So if you're neglected and you weren't looked at, and if you didn't have any like skin to skin contact, you might have like a disassociated personality where you can't.
I wish
be
me and my
attached.
mother had more skin to skin contact.
yeah, me too. Me too. I
You talking about my mother?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we could swap mothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the sociopath, so like also a psychopath usually has normal or above average IQ, and a sociopath like not necessarily, or maybe antisocial not necessarily either. And Sammy
So
the
you
bull.
can't have any like stupid or retarded psychopaths.
Well, they are usually
Just
are
imagine
highly.
a psychopath with Down syndrome. He's
They're
like,
usually highly
no, I'm
intelligent.
using. It's my crayon.
Because they're highly
You have
intelligent
to-
because they have to be charming.
You have to listen, and you have to.
Sorry.
When I start a bit, you need to shut the fuck
I
up.
don't want you to make fun of Down syndrome people.
You need to shut the fuck up when I start a bit, and you need to add to it.
Okay. Next time. Sorry.
All right, so that we got to scrap that now. That could have been something. That could have been like a good 4 minutes where I talk about a kid with Down syndrome. Mentally.
Well,
Speaking of retarded people, we went home. We went to Jersey last night. Just had dinner with my parents, and like my brother just doesn't stop with his bullshit. Like I don't know how my family hasn't killed him by now.
He
Deb?
really needs to work on his speech. He gets quite
Yeah,
frustrated
whatever.
that he can't express himself. And also, like, he's probably just, he might, like, require some new stimulation. So that
What are you
is,
saying?
like, I
he either
recommended
needs to
that,
be jerked off or he needs to play Fortnite.
No, I
Yeah.
think he needs, like... But maybe
What?
he could play an interactive
No, you're
video
not wrong.
game. But maybe he could play an interactive video game where he has an objective and presses buttons to achieve something instead of just watching videos.
Yeah.
I was trying to have Mike's still laughing. What you said?
No, that is basically what people need. It's like it's either being jacked off or Fortnite.
Yeah. Get him the Switch. It's on Switch and show him Fortnite.
I think he needs more back and forth interaction, like asking and answering questions to propel a conversation.
He won't answer questions.
You know what? You could
Okay.
play
Fine.
with him with the headset.
No, maybe he might
Maybe-
take that off because he'll be like, "This isn't what I don't want to listen to Michael right now."
Maybe.
But no, I think it would be better next to him, playing a game or actually playing Guess Who or cards or something like a board game, like a ruled governed back and forth turn taking game.
Guess who? That game's racist, right?
Guess Who?
It is when we play it on in my family. Every Thanksgiving, the game lasts 2 minutes. Because my dad picks Earl every time, the whitest guy. Anyway, no, I just thought what was funny about that Sammy the Bull interview was there are moments where he tries to act like he
and
made
I
a
was-
mistake, like he's an
Yeah.
innocent person, but you can tell it's totally fabricated, and it's hey, good job. Like you can tell he probably had to coach himself to be say that it was wrong that you killed the people, Sammy.
So that's what makes him
Say
seem
that
like
you
a
wish you didn't
psychopath.
kill the people. Because he did. He killed his brother-in-law.
He killed
Right.
his brother-in-law because he was ordered to or whatever. But
Yeah.
from
He's
his
practicing in a
perspective,
mirror.
his self-serving rationalization that he made there
Come on,
was
Sammy, you got this. It's bad to kill people.
Don't.
he was saying to himself we're all in the mob, we all could die any day.
Right.
If you act wrong, you will die. So this
Right.
guy understands that's going to happen.
And
he
one
didn't
thing that
feel a
doctor
thing.
said in the video that we watched was that sociopaths are sometimes made. If you grew up in
Right.
a rough neighborhood, you sort of adapt to the way things are. And actually, if you live in a world where there's lawlessness,
Right.
you will adapt to that, and that'll be sort of like your new world order.
Yeah.
And,
I was trying to get to that. That's what I was
That's how you'll kind of navigate.
a psychopath might have neurological differences and they might have suffered through abuse, but they're highly intelligent. But so he was left back twice and he had dyslexia. So he wasn't able to probably at a young age express his wants and needs and desires or create coping mechanisms to deal with failures, and also he struggled to absorb information
You
and
just want to do improv.
yeah. So his struggle might have lended itself to neurons that fire together, wire together. So it's just I'm struggling. People think they're better than me. Well, guess what? They're not, because I'm going to beat their ass.
Uh-huh.
And so that's the mentality that he probably developed over time as a result of his circumstances.
Yeah.
Right.
The circumstances being growing up in the 50s.
And being dyslexic and being held back twice.
Right.
Yeah. Also, so like
Oh yeah, didn't he like knock out his principal or something?
he broke his jaw. So
pretty
he
badass.
he
Shout out to
demonstrated like
Sammy.
so he demonstrated
You're the man, Sammy.
that he had no respect or respect for authority or anything like that, and he actually like was mad at people who were trying to like.
But then the
like,
mob is all
govern
about
him.
authority.
Right, but he killed the mob boss.
Yeah, because he was under orders.
To kill Castellano.
new boss, yeah.
Him and John Gotti decided. Well, the way he framed it was that him and John Gotti decided to do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like, this guy is so annoying. He doesn't let us earn money. We could be getting more
chews
money.
with his mouth open. He's annoying. Yeah.
If he would let us sell drugs, we could be rich.
Yeah.
And he won't, and so we got to get rid of him. And then also he was saying he was really pissed off because at like a party, he was going off. Castellano was going off saying like, you know who the real heroes are? They're the cops. They might walk into a domestic dispute and like never know what they're going to get themselves into and end up dead.
Wait, Castellano said that,
Yeah.
or Sammy the Bull said that?
No, Castellano said that, and then Sammy the Bull, as a result of that, thought to himself like, how can this guy be like the leader of all of us and saying the cops are the true heroes? Meanwhile, like you're ordering us to wake up every day and think like, kill this person, get rid of this person,
Yeah.
rules, order.
Yeah.
But I think when you're on top, it's a very tremendous like guilt that is hard to deal with. So like you kind of do things subconsciously to self-sabotage your position.
Yeah.
So like when John Gotti got into that position, he was like flashy and he thought he was invincible. And then he like essentially outed everybody before Sammy the Bull outed everybody.
Right. Well, Castellano is kind of an interesting figure because it's like he was the head of the Gambino family, which was like the biggest family, and he sort of thought of himself as like a businessman. Like I think he really wanted to be accepted by like the upper echelons of society, which I
Right.
think everybody kind of does. Like I think everybody like I just feel like there's something about, you look at the entertainment business, right? And you can have like a really successful podcast, and there's just I feel like there's still a part of you that wants to be like hanging out with like, you know, the cast of SN, or like you want to be around celebrities or whatever. Like I'm
Yeah.
sure it bothers.
No, I
I'm
love
sure
being
I'm
around
sure it
celebrities.
bothers.
Hamptons.
Right, I'm sure
Yeah.
it bothers Anthony Cumia that he doesn't get invited to the Hamptons or whatever, you know?
Right, because
I don't know.
most people who act out, they do so that they can get attention. Like even most serial killers, they'll like slowly reveal themselves so that they can get like publicity and a name and be
Yeah.
infamous. So most people don't want to be feeling on top of the world and having no one else perceive them as being on top of the world. So it's like
Right.
it's hard to not get caught because you truly have to be like a sociopath, which I think Sammy the Bull is. And he honestly just wanted to keep getting more money. And he's like John Gotti, like the way he portrays it, he's like, what was this guy doing? He's like, he's having us meeting in the same place. Everyone, the FBI are outside. They see us all lining up to go to the same club. Like he's walking around being like a hot shot. He's given up all this information
Who,
about
Gotti?
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, when they finally bugged Gotti's apartment, they had Gotti, like, he just complained and ranted to people in his apartment the whole time. So he, like, gave so much information from that bug. But when Sammy the Bull's office was bugged, they didn't get in all of the recordings, like, anything that would be incriminating. Because he didn't talk about it. Because he didn't care. He was like, whatever. Even as a little kid, they called him Sammy the Bull because he, like, 4 kids tried to steal his bike and he fought off all of them.
Right.
Because he was like crazy. He didn't care.
Well, that's another thing you kind of notice about the interview, where it's like John Gotti really did like being he wanted to be liked, and he liked the attention that he got from people. And it's like with Sammy, definitely felt like there was like a detachment, and he was just kind of like, yeah, this is for me, and he's out for himself. And I don't know. Do you think he loved anybody? He probably loved his kids.
No,
but
he
do you
loves
think
his kids and his family. But like to him, he was like, "That's what's important, family."
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah, that's
But
that's
then
like
he killed his
important
brother.
moving up too.
Yeah, he was like, it tore him up. It tore him up that he had to kill his brother-in-law. That's what he said. He was like, yeah, that was like a big thing. I couldn't even believe I did that.
But
And then
Castellano
really,
was the one who ordered
he
him.
ordered it. So he said, yeah, that's what I had to do.
Yeah, so Castellano was a piece of shit too.
Yeah, but
But what's
what
funny
did
about
he
him-
do? Nobody said why he had to get killed.
Why he had to get killed? Because he was not a good boss, and he was taxing the
No,
street.
not Castellano. The brother-in-law.
Oh, I don't know what the brother-in-law did.
Yeah, no one says what he did. So he says that
He knows what he did.
He did
Yeah, he knows what he
something
did.
to like betray them, and that's why he had to
Probably.
get shot. But the daughter said that as soon as he got shot, then Sammy the Bull came in and took over all of his businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So Sammy the Bull truly killed him so that he can get more money, and that's like his motive and his motivation. Like he's very greedy and he wants more money.
You don't think he was ordered to?
I don't know because I
Yeah.
don't know. I wasn't there, but those are the two stories that
Yeah.
they said. So it's not uninteresting. Also, he got away with like a lot and got a really sweet deal. The government paid for his plastic surgery.
He's out on. He's out of the system, right?
Well, he went back to jail for drugs.
Yeah, so I think he went to Arizona and he was like selling ecstasy, and then he went back to jail for that.
Yeah, because as soon as
Yeah.
his Diane
It's who he
Sawyer
is.
interview aired, he like those contracts started opening up again, and so like that
His
is
daughter's pretty hot too. No disrespect to the queen.
you really do like chunky girls.
Yeah.
I'm not chunky. I might be a little chunky.
Wow. Guys, follow Deb on Instagram and email the show.
Let her know whether or
put
whether
in
or
the subject
not.
line, is Deb chunky?
Yeah,
we'll
Deb.
start a
I'm just
poll.
going to go with
But-
Deb is chunky, and that's
no,
okay with
no,
me.
No, you're not
no,
chunky.
no.
It's fine.
I would.
I'm going to accept
That's
that
too
as
not
the
chunky.
reality.
Matt, tell my girlfriend she's got a beautiful body.
Deb, you look great.
Thanks. I already know. I'm fine with it. So life's about choices, and I choose to eat cauliflower and broccoli and things that are
I'm
healthy.
doing vitamins now. Anyway,
You just pee them out.
don't be that person, Deb.
Okay.
Nobody likes that person.
All right, sorry. Anyway, Sammy the Bull.
Where are we, Mike?
Well, let's talk about some of the characteristics of a psychopath.
Wait. Frank
take
Terranova, psychopath or sociopath or
That's
neither?
interesting. Frank might.
I say neither.
Neither. He's antisocial.
Yeah.
Because his actions are like environmentally based, and also like a main difference between antisocial
he's
individual
not. Yeah.
and a psychopath is like a psychopath is somebody who demonstrates like not enough anxiety. An antisocial person has too much anxiety. So like as a result of their anxiety, this is a daunting task that I don't want to participate in. And so I'm not going, like I'm either going to be awkward in that situation or I'm going to avoid it.
Yeah.
And a psychopath is like, I have no worries. I'm going to nail it. Like psychopaths are very goal oriented and they
Right.
achieve their goals.
Right. I know a comic. I know a comic who might have some psychopathic tendencies, and he does fit this mold a lot because he's very charming. He is very goal oriented. He's very transactional.
You know what another sign is?
What?
A psychopath will often offer you help. They want to establish trust from like the initial part of your relationship. So like they'll always be like, you need help with that? I'll help you out. So like that you over time they mold you into believing that they're a trustworthy individual but they're really just creating you to be who they want you to be.
Yeah.
Would you say Chris Hardwick is a sociopath based
No,
on that?
I don't even know who is Chris Hardwick again?
He's the guy that does the
He's
talking.
that rapist from the TV show. You know.
He started
Well,
that podcast network.
a
The
rapist
Nerdist.
is a
hosted at midnight.
psychopath.
But like his girlfriend posted this.
I can't hear all these things. What? His girl? What happened?
She posted this.
Who's whining now about someone who fucking abused you?
Posted this article
No,
about
I
being
don't care.
emotionally abused, where he would like control the amount of food she would eat and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think
that
it was
sounds
kinda,
like
I think
pretty
it was kinda
psychopathic
shitty,
to
right?
me.
I mean, I think because there were a bunch of people who defended him, but it sounds like it was pretty shitty what he did.
Yeah, it's hard because like a psychopath is going to be able to identify like you're a weak individual that they're able to mold.
Right.
So like they're going to manipulate you from the start, and they're going to like mold you into the person that they wish you to be. So if they want you to be somebody who follows every command that they make, then they're going to like really like flip out and scream at you and stuff so that you are fearful of them moving forward and you don't want to upset them.
Yeah.
Somebody tried to manipulate me this week. I was not having it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it?
What happened?
Well, someone that we used to live with.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay,
Tried
someone
to,
will remain unnamed.
Someone who will remain unnamed that we used to live with, that just moved out. Deb and I are the sole occupants of this apartment, by the way. Thank you
Right.
very much.
We sure are. Yes.
Please send your cards.
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, tell Mike and Deb what they should name their second room.
Oh,
the podcast
it's the
studio.
podcast studio. Yeah.
That's the name of the room? Okay.
Yeah. Should we put a sign? I just
don't
got
wanna
an
have it
iPad
sponsored
Pro. Oh, if you are interested in sponsoring
Deb, they're
our
gonna come and
podcast
rob us.
room, don't. What do you mean rob us?
They're going to rob us
They're
for
gonna know you
one
an
iPad Pro.
Yeah.
Oh, we
They already know
also
where we
just got
live.
renter's insurance, so don't fuck with us.
Otherwise, you'll buy new stuff.
I know.
Otherwise, we'll call a
I know
company
that.
and they're going to come out and give us a check
Or-
for $400
As
so we
I
can buy a new one.
mentioned, everyone I related to is either a cop or a criminal, so don't fuck with me.
Yeah, or a psychopath.
Or a psychopath. I was reading this and I'm like, wow, like I'm not a psychopath because I don't have any sort of enjoyment in anybody else's pain whatsoever. But like I do like a defense mechanism I use is to intellectualize everything. So like I speak about things as a matter of fact, even if they're like very emotionally charged things. I'll be like, my grandmother died, and I just intellectualize that, even though it's like very sad and hard for me. Whenever I can bring it up in conversation and like just I'm fine.
Yeah, well.
I mean, but everyone does that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you cry in private.
Exactly, like a
Like you're supposed
grown
to.
woman.
Yes, we're all,
Or on the train. Like you're
Yes.
supposed to.
But
we're all
then,
very sad that Deb's grandma.
should we talk about the characteristics of a psychopath?
Yeah, how about an example? I could play that child molester clip that you sent me and Mike in the car.
Okay.
That we played on his
Let's
car
save that.
radio.
Let's save that towards the end.
Okay.
It's
so
creepy.
okay, so I'll
It's
just
creepy.
like the things that can I just like read what I wrote down so I don't have to like pretend that I
Of course.
I know this off the top of my head because I don't. So like a psychopath like psychopathy, you assess character as well as behavior.
Okay, so let's do this. So let's talk about the characteristics and then let's address them individually. Okay.
Okay.
So one is narcissism.
Yes.
Okay. They say not all narcissists are psychopaths, but all psychopaths are narcissists.
Right. Yes. They have very egocentric personalities.
Yeah. Another thing about them is now this is actually kind of funny because I guess you wouldn't necessarily put these all together. Like they don't seem like they come in a package.
You mean like they're all comorbidities?
Yeah.
You're not. So like you're saying it's on the DSM.
Like these
you
characteristics
score.
seem kind of loosely.
It's on a spectrum. It is a spectrum.
Loosely, yeah.
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 So it's like how a person can't be a little bit
It's
pregnant,
almost
but you
like-
could be a little bit of a psychopath. You can be.
Okay.
So like when you
Right.
get the diagnostic assessment,
Like if somebody was
you
like,
get
"Oh,
a
this guy has
score.
no arms," and then they were like, "He can't open jars," I'd be like, "Yeah, that makes sense." But it almost feels like narcissism, like narcissism and manipulation are two separate things. But that's
Right.
another characteristic of a psychopath is they'll manipulate you. They know how to push your buttons. They
Right.
know how to control people. And when you accuse them of stuff, they will get defensive and they'll put it back on you,
Right.
which is something.
Oh my God, is that your ulterior
Something
motive?
that the next
What's-
girlfriend would do quite a bit.
Oh, I thought you were
Um,
still on our roommates.
No, but let me tell you what he. let me go back to that real quick.
Great. Good. Thank you for bringing it back, Deb.
Well,
Mike just
he's-
has this podcast so he could air all of his grievances with all those individuals who wronged
Fuck
him.
you, fuck you.
He's got a list.
And it's called the enemies list with Mike Recine. Number 1, the vice principal from 7th grade.
What would you say about me? I'm not your enemy.
No, sometimes.
Okay, so go ahead. What happened?
So my roommate just came home and he's moving out and he was like, he was like, yeah, I'll put that mattress on the street. And I was like, no, I might try to sell it. And he was like, no one's gonna buy that mattress. No one wants that. I'm like, okay, well, let me at least try. It takes 4 seconds to put something on Let Go.
Right.
Then he comes home the next night and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take that mattress with me. I'm like, it's not yours to take. This isn't my fucking first rodeo. I dated a psychopath for a year and a half. So it's like, you're not going to manipulate me into thinking it's a shitty mattress. Actually, I put it on Let Go this afternoon, and let's see if it got any offers.
Yeah, what's going on with the mattress?
I don't know, but I
said
assume
100
zero responsibility for the mattress.
$150. I said $150, free delivery.
I just think that most people don't want to buy a mattress because they're fearful of bed bugs.
Let's
don't.
break it down, Mike. Free delivery is probably like $75. So the mattress is worth. I'm saying like it would. I would consider you delivering it being worth $75 worth of labor, right?
You couldn't pay me $75 to carry a mattress. Fuck that.
For
I don't want to
Mike,
do that.
he would charge $75
bucks
or something.
He likes picking things up.
Okay,
And
so
putting
you're
them
getting
down.
$75 for that mattress. Why don't you just sell it to Andy for $75?
I don't believe that Andy is interested in purchasing the mattress.
He just wants a free bed.
Well, just add it to the amount of money that he owes you. You know,
He doesn't owe us
I don't
any
think
money.
he owes any money.
Oh.
He paid me, yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't. Yeah, he has no bill.
Although Deb yelled at him the other night, and I had to. So Deb was like mad at him, and she yelled at him, and I had to listen
I
to the
don't
two of
think
them.
I was. That implies that I did it out of emotion,
I
which
had to.
I didn't.
I had to listen to the two of you agree that I don't close cabinets and I'm a slob.
So because all I was saying, I was like, listen, like my life is hard enough. I have to deal with Mike. He's a slob and he doesn't close anything behind him. In conjunction to that, the only reason why I have a roommate is like to lower the rent. So like if we can't talk about finances, then we rendered ourselves useless here.
So what happened?
We just had a conversation about I don't know.
That
This is
sounded
not what
like
I felt like talking about.
That sounded like a sophisticated argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I have enough to deal with. I'm trying to be somebody here. I cannot deal with the two of them being like big, giant babies.
Oh, why are you leaving cabinet doors open, Mike?
How am I a baby?
He doesn't turn around and close anything. Because you're talking about Anzi when I did tons of research on Sammy the Bull and psychopathy. That's how you're being a baby.
So, what's your bed going for on Let Go, Mike?
No offers yet. I mean, I guess you're right. But, like, I don't know. At least let me try to sell the fucking thing.
I just feel like that is not the best use of your time and that you could be writing
What
jokes.
are we going to do with this bed then?
You give it to Andy.
Yeah.
You should have given him like the
No,
bed
I'll
for
set it on
$50.
fire before I give it to
I
him.
know, because you're so like Mike has these characteristics where he's so stubborn. Like you're very transactional. You don't do anything for free. You're just like, if you want me to do this, this is the price. Like you are a menu.
Yeah, my time is valuable.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. And you're and like you're just everything is like at a cost. It's funny how like you're so giving to strangers, but you're so mad at
But
Andy.
not to people. What do I not give to you? I do a lot for you. I built that fucking shelf outside.
Yeah,
Took me 90 days.
What about giving to Andy?
90-day shelf. No, he doesn't need anything. He won't appreciate it.
What do you mean?
90-day shelf with Mike Recine.
Come on.
How to build a shelf in 90 days. Actually, I did. I built 3 shelves.
You should have seen Mike in the hardware store. He's like, $10? You could buy a shelving kit for $10. Do you have any idea how much money I spent on these goddamn shelves?
Yeah, it was a lot.
How much time it took?
Yeah, he's on a real woodworking.
I know.
I know, it's great. I want to do woodworking instead of comedy. By the way, I forgot to set my stopwatch.
Oh, my
so I don't
goodness.
know what.
Yeah, we're looking at we're staring down the barrel of around 39 minutes.
All right. Okay, so
Anyway, so the
Give Andy the
characteristics of an
bed.
individual who's a psychopath, they're going to be like highly narcissistic and egocentric. In addition to that, which I think is so interesting, they don't demonstrate a loud noise startle reflex or like a uncomfortable startle reflex. So like
Right.
if I were to be like, bah! And like, or just like some loud noise and like nobody blinks, that means like that's like a characteristic, like because you don't have a perception of fear. So like fearfulness is what And also, my Uncle Tommy, one time I was like,
So
I'm
wait,
not afraid of anything. He's like, oh, well, demonstrating no fear is a big issue, Deborah.
So wait a second. So you're saying if I don't flinch,
Yeah.
I'm a psychopath? It's
It
kind of
is-
like
no.
when that guy tried to throw the ball at Kobe Bryant's face and he didn't blink.
Well,
Yeah.
that's because Kobe was very confident in his bodily kinesthetics. Like, he understands that he is able to catch a ball, so he's not going to be afraid of that. But, like, if
Oh, it
you were
was
to
like-
show somebody violently stabbing an individual and you didn't blink and you were actually, like,
They'd be like, ooh.
didn't have any eye movement.
I
then-
like this.
Yeah. You're a
I'm
psycho.
hard.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, so another characteristic of a psychopath or sociopath is manipulation and lying.
Right.
Now, have you ever dealt with somebody? I guess this is interesting to me because the whole college episode of Sopranos is about like the way Tony's lying to Meadow about like what he does and the effects that it has. And I just feel like Deb is someone who like never lies. I've never seen her lie to anybody. And then like my mom lies, my brother lies, and I don't know. I guess I think liars are very interesting because it's like, how do you think you're gonna get away with this? And once somebody lies, it's like I almost want to like cut them out of my life.
All right. So let's break it down a little bit. What did your mom lie to you about? What did your brother lie to you about?
She just lies about stupid shit.
Well,
Like,
people
she'll
who
just be
lie,
like,
they do it out of fear. So they lie because they don't want to hurt your feelings or they don't want to get in trouble.
You think?
Yes. No, I know.
So she didn't want to hurt his feelings?
Actually, John Gotti did say, "I never lie because that means I'm afraid."
Yeah, like I'm just going to tell you the truth because one, that's the truth and I'm not ashamed of it, and two, I don't want to have to remember all these different things that I might have said. And then three, it's like, why? Why am I lying to you? Like, for what? I'm not afraid of your reaction. Like, you're not going to manipulate me with your poor behavior just because you can't handle the truth. Like, that's not my problem. It's your problem, not my problem. So, like, Mike's brother lies out of fear because everyone gives him a hard time about money. And Mike's mom lies. I don't know why she would. Oh, because she probably wants to avoid Mike trying to, like, berate her with all of these, like, Trump questions.
That would make a lot of sense.
I don't know.
Yeah, because Mike is mad that his mom lied about she claims she voted for Obama at one point, and Mike has thought about
No,
this.
it's just stuff like that where
very-
she'll be like, I voted for Obama. It's like, there's no way you voted for Obama. You're just saying this to like
Yeah.
move your argument.
Like
So
earlier.
I can't stand.
Dude,
when
earlier
somebody-
in the car, there was like a Neil deGrasse Tyson video I was showing him where Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying he doesn't have a case on his phone because he's never going to drop it. Mike was
I'm
getting
like, you
so
dumb
mad.
piece of shit. Shut the fuck up. You're gonna drop your phone.
Everybody drops
Everybody
their
drops
phone.
their goddamn phone. But I guess I feel like when someone
he's just
lies,
like, no,
when
bullshit.
someone lies, you have to just cut them out of your life. Like that whole thing with AOC and Ben Shapiro, and he was like, if she debates me, I'll give her $10,000. Ben Shapiro is a guy who will consistently lie about stuff and make up shit. Like I'll listen to his podcast sometimes, and I'm like, well, that's a lie, that's a lie. And a lot of these right wing guys.
But you
do
just
that.
determine it's a lie because you're a human lie detector, like based on their like intonation.
No, because I know the information. I know what there's. I know what's. I have a sense of what's
so
going
he's
on.
like
And you're not
gaslighting.
gonna
And they're
be
using it to
manipulated.
they're using it to manipulate their listeners
Mm-hmm.
to create a false narrative that keeps
Right.
them.
And the information you
In
get from
business.
Chapo.
So
that
if
keeps
someone-
them ignorant.
yeah. So
Yeah.
if someone
NPR.
if someone is willing to
news.
yeah, and I trust the fake news. No, but if someone is willing to do that to bend the truth even a little bit to advance their own agenda, I
Right.
don't. That person needs to be ignored and shut out and shunned, and they
I don't
shouldn't
know if
have
they
any.
always want to advance their own agenda, though. I think it's mostly out of fear. People lie because they're afraid. Like kids
Okay,
lie
fine,
because
but
they
Ben
don't want to get in
Shapiro,
trouble.
but Ben Shapiro said on his podcast, he was like, I don't see any evidence that there was Russian collusion with the Trump campaign, and it's like something like that seems like it's a lie. We've seen over and over again. Like there was an email with Trump's son being like, yeah, let's have a meeting. I'd love to get dirt on Hillary Clinton.
I just feel like I was
So-
so exhilarated by the conversation before, and once I got to like Trump and Russia, I'm like,
Well, is Trump a sociopath or a psychopath?
Well, I'm glad that you're exhilarated. Welcome to the Deb Hour.
There was a part of that interview that we watched. Yeah. Sammy the Bull said that he was so powerful that, like, if Trump didn't want to build a building, he couldn't. Like, he just named him as a couple of individuals that he had control over.
Yeah. Well, the thing about a psychopath is like they come off so confident that you do trust them, and that's how they're able to get farther, because they sort of demonstrate or they come off like they're in charge and they know what they're doing. And I think a lot of us, like a lot of times as humans, we look for someone like that. We want to find someone who is confident, and even if they don't know stuff, we think they are.
Yeah. Also,
they say that people who are best at people who are the least suited for power are the best at grabbing it.
Right. Yeah, they have like a very
reward
nature.
Hillary Clinton.
They have like a reward nature, so like they are able to manipulate people because they're like, I'm going to offer them help so that they trust me, and then I'm going to reward them when they do things that please me, and I'm going to like severely punish them when they do things that don't please me. So eventually they just like give it up and do what they want. That's what the guy was saying in the interview. Yeah. And then also, so like I read this one research article that talked about like there are 5 items on like a parent scale that they used in a research study to determine like if their child was a psychopath, which you can't diagnose a child as a psychopath.
Right.
It's an adult kind of spectrum disorder.
Have you ever dealt with psychopaths in your own life? How do you deal with liars and manipulators?
Yeah. What when the kids lie to you? What's it like seeing some like little person lies that aren't advanced yet?
I mean, I am a little bit fascinated by lies. I did a lot of research on like kid lying and stuff, and like that's why I know like mostly it starts out of fear and stuff.
But you think it's only out of fear, or it's to manipulate people as well?
I think that it
because
could
I
be
feel
to
like
manipulate people as well, but I think that's for a different motivation.
Yeah, I just feel like a psychopath or a sociopath, they just don't care about the truth. They care about winning, so they'll be willing to bend a narrative and create, something that's false so that they can like win.
Right. Also, a psychopath would take pleasure in being like, I did trick you, I fooled you. So like I manipulated
you think Tim Dillon's a psychopath?
No, because I don't think I know any psychopaths.
Thank God.
I don't know anybody who
I don't think I do either.
Substance, like without any sort of mind-altering substance, has the desire to commit violent acts towards another individual, or who has like delusions, or who who has like the no startle reflex, or like it's like
what
it's
about
such
when that
focus.
Supreme Court judge turned his back on that Parkland dad? Did you see that video clip today?
No.
Oh man.
Oh, Kavanaugh?
Yeah, he doesn't shake the surviving father's hand or whatever. Oof.
Oh no, I didn't.
He
see
just
that.
like looks at him and he's like, nah.
I didn't see that. Good for you, Brett Kavanaugh. I don't take any shit from these fucking people whose kids aren't even dead.
It's like I'll like I don't know. I would have felt bad. Maybe you felt bad.
Maybe. I don't know.
So
a child who is lying, they like.
Thank you for presenting that story with all the context and details.
Yeah, like I don't even know anything about that story.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
But so a child will lie.
Every time Matt opens his mouth, I'm like, here we go.
And that'll show like how intelligent they
trip.
are.
Let's
Here
stop,
we go on
let's
this
stop the show and
time
explain,
together.
Like there's a 7-year-old here.
Wait, but listen to this. This I think is interesting. So like as a child matures, like their lying becomes more sophisticated. So like an older child telling a very bad lie might be an indication of their like lack of theory of mind, or like their ability to relate to others. Because like so as you progress and you become more sophisticated of a liar, you realize that like not everyone is omniscient, so they don't have all the information that I have, and
right.
I can also picture how much information that they have. Therefore, based on the information I predict that they have, I'm going to fabricate my own story that tailors to their idea of what could happen. So if all Mike knows is that I left the house at 2:00 or whatever, or something, so I would like use that into my story to be like, at 2:00 I had to go to the dentist or something. Like, like you use that what information that they have to create your sophisticated story. That's why when somebody does a bad lie, you're like, what do you think? I'm fucking dumb? Like, what do you think? Like, that was just a bad lie. Like, based on all the information that I clearly have, that's what you came up with? Like, you're an idiot.
Have you ever had like a dumb lie,
sometimes
Michael?
like kids
Probably,
tell dumb lies.
I mean,
when
I
they're
lie. I
little.
tell dumb lies to Deb all the time that I don't get away with. Yeah.
I am on my way home.
Like let's say it's a
No,
VCR.
she'll be like, "Is that a toenail in your mouth?" And I'm like, "No."
I know, he's so dumb.
All right, let's stay on topic here, okay? Let's not go off on a tangent about
here we
something
go.
I do in the privacy of my own movie theater
You did
scene.
rat yourself out, but yeah, like
Can you
it's
stop talking over me because I had another good riff and you're stepping all over them.
shut up. But like, so a child might not have
think I have
that
lung cancer?
same. Maybe. You and Oliver both have these bad coughs
Yeah.
because you made everyone
You can
inhale.
bury us together and save some money on the
Okay.
casket.
Thank you.
You know what you could do is you could
Your
cream-
casket
I
has a little
wanted to
bump where your
cremate
stomach
Oliver
is.
so he could stay with me always.
What, like you drink them?
No, he'll just be in like,
No, I'm kidding.
You mix them up in
like
a
he's
bullet.
like hot chocolate.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, so like a child might be like, you'd be like, did you put cereal in the VCR?
Well, you could also
and then they're
taxidermy
like,
him.
no. And then you're like, well, how'd it get there? And they're like, I don't know. Or like Elmo did it. That's like a bad lie, but it's funny because like they even tried to like blame it on something else. Like
Yeah,
like,
depending on how old they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I know any psychopaths.
No, I
No.
don't either. I don't know any.
No sociopaths.
I have worked with children who do demonstrate some sort of like pleasure in pain, but I wouldn't say they're psychopaths. But this is the
you see
child
it with
scale that
you-
I've been dying to read.
All right, hold on one second. I'm just gonna say you see it with your dog a little bit. Like I'm sure, like because Frankie's like very friendly and sociable and everything. But I feel like if we did anything to hurt him, he would be like,
Yeah, I think people are
Like
like,
you-
those people are definitely
you
kind because that dog
influence-
does not listen.
Yeah.
So they're
No, but
definitely
it's like
not
you
beating his ass
influence
at
you
home.
influence a living thing's like behavior every
Yeah.
day, and I
Right.
think a lot of times, like like when you do look at politics, you see people who are like have been hurt, and like people who. I think people who like hardcore support Trump, like something happened in their lives where it made them distrust people. And that's
Right.
why they don't trust immigrants coming in. And that's why they don't trust Muslims, and they don't,
Yeah. Trump
See,
voters are just
yeah.
little hit dogs.
Yeah, it seems like they're all like abused dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that. I think when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And
Oh
that
wow! Thank you for that. Another fucking fridge magnet quote.
So maybe if you even thought about what that meant, like you don't
you
have
say
very
it.
strong.
You say it twice a week.
Because it's important. Like, so theory of mind, which lack of theory of mind is a characteristic of both a psychopath and a sociopath. So it's like understanding that
autistic person.
individuals, mostly autism as well.
What is theory of mind?
Theory of mind is the understanding that individuals have thoughts that are diverging and that an individual could feel something that's a contrary to what you feel. And understanding how a person could feel based on a scenario, based on like it's like a metalinguistic metacognitive skill, because you have to think about how they might be thinking. You're thinking about thinking based on their situation. So it's like people who lack theory of mind, they can't see things from any other perspective but their own. And I don't know if it's like, I don't think that those people are like, I don't trust immigrants. I think that they feel screwed and they've been told it's the immigrants' fault and they believe that. Just like everyone blamed the Jews during the Holocaust. They were like, life sucks. Hitler says it's the Jews, so I'm going to go with it.
And the thing with the Jews is they're very easy to get mad at.
So there goes the abused
Because
puppy theory.
first Hitler started talking to waiters, and he was like, "It's the Jews," and they were like, "Yeah, it is. They make my fucking shift at the Applebee's so annoying."
Yeah.
So-
Oh, have him drive.
Take
have
3
him-
bites of something and send it back.
Yeah. Have him just go stand still in the middle of an intersection.
Who?
So I wanted to talk about the Robert D.
Yeah.
Hare's
You keep
two-factor
talking, I'm gonna go to
model,
bed.
which distinguishes between factor one, like the shallow
You got
effects,
this,
the
right?
like
I gotta-
superficial charm and
I'm really tired.
manipulativeness,
I'm gonna
and
get an
lack
ice
of
cream.
empathy.
I'm gonna get
That's
an ice
like-
cream from the bodega. And,
That's like what a
call it night.
psychopath would have.
Right.
Another factor is the inability to show remorse and the behaviors associated with the socially deviant lifestyle of impulsiveness and criminality. Both of these may become evident in childhood, and these are the 5 questions that they might ask parents in order to determine like if their child is
Yeah,
a
they said a
psychopath.
narcissist will do shitty stuff, but they'll feel bad about it, and a psychopath will like cheat on their wife and not feel bad.
Well, they'll like it's like a pleasure seeking activity. They enjoy the
Yeah.
like the rush that they get from it, and also like
They're often
the
bored.
deceit
Yeah.
that they are able to accomplish without being caught. But then like eventually you get overzealous and overconfident,
And
like,
how do they not want to like just kill themselves? You know?
because they love themselves. They think they're great. They're killing it. They're doing a great
They
job.
have a hard time regulating their self-esteem,
Interesting.
Yeah.
like somebody I know.
Number 1, child doesn't
Me?
seem guilty after misbehaving. So do you feel guilty after you misbehave, or do you remember
Yeah.
being a child? And
There was
like,
this one time,
Yeah, I
like
stole some stuff from Home Depot today, and I didn't feel very good.
he got a stomach ache.
Yeah.
and he confessed to me right away too. Like Mike is like he rats on himself.
Oh, he confessed to me, but it was more like a cool thing.
Yeah, but like that
Yeah, I was
was
like, "Do you like me now?"
that was
like,
his
hell
way
yeah,
of
dude.
hiding it. Yeah. So you both agree that you feel
Yeah, I
guilty
felt bad.
after misbehaving.
There was one time this my cousin. I almost said this. My cousin was like she's younger, and I lied about the boogie monster, and she got terrified. So like her
You felt
parents
bad?
were like, "What happened?" I was like, "I don't know."
Oh, you should have just been like, I told her there's a boogeyman. Just tell her I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was also a child, so I didn't
Right.
know how to do anything other than lie.
So the next one is punishment does not change behavior. Do you feel like you've ever been punished and like you learned from that and you never did it again?
Yeah, my dad used to hit me, so I just waited till I was 16 till I could kick his ass.
But like, so that didn't change your behavior. Did it change your behavior? Like, did you
Yeah, it
Fuck,
changed.
you know
It
what?
changed it. He started doing push-ups,
You know
Yeah.
what?
pull-ups.
Fuck him.
Yeah, it definitely
Fuck him.
influenced his behavior, but did it like?
Fuck my bullshit ass dad.
Who else is trying to beat up
Piece
her
of
dad?
shit.
Yeah, but
I'll
Mike was
kick the
just like
shit out of
such
him.
a fuck of a kid. I think like he just sounds like
Fuck
he
his
was
ass
so
up.
annoying.
I don't know. He probably just wanted attention.
He did.
Yeah, I was annoying.
Like if my kid told me to go fuck
are you
myself,
talking
I
about?
would
I don't want
slap him
attention.
in his mouth. I would.
I never told my parents to go fuck themselves.
What did you say that
I
might
called
be?
my dad a fucking bitch one time. I called my dad a bitch at church.
What happened? Did he?
You
And then he hit
did?
you.
No.
So what is the? What did you
Oh.
say to your parents?
Huh?
Did you say anything mean like that?
Yeah. Did you call your mom the C word?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. But like when you were punished, did you like think, okay, I'm never gonna do that again, or were you just so mad
No,
that
I
you
thought
wanted
someday
to do
I'll
it
get
more?
revenge on this man. I'll hurt him the way he hurt me.
Did you ever get
He's like
punished?
he's like a
and,
crow.
By
he'll
being, by
he'll
being
remember
gay.
your
Oh,
face.
yeah.
by being gay.
By being gay.
I'll show you that.
I'll show you, Dad. I'll be gay.
Oh boy. So what was your question?
Have you ever been punished and then like you learned from that punishment and you never did that behavior again?
Oh sure.
Like for instance,
I can't think of it, but like it just seems
you're
routine.
like, oh, I'm never gonna do that again.
Yeah, like
I
with
never really
school,
misbehaved.
I
You didn't?
in high school I got like a 2.0, and then in college I got a 4.0 because I learned like you
Right,
have to
you-
pay for school.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Why don't you fucking do something with your life? Yeah, you know.
Right. Don't waste it.
Anyway.
Number 3, child is selfish, won't share. Did you ever have any issues with
Depends.
sharing? Or do you currently have issues with sharing?
I don't know.
No, I don't actually.
You're a good sharer?
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
I think so. I'm pretty good sharing.
That's good.
One time in first grade, this kid asked me to share some of my food, so I gave him some of my food,
Yeah.
And then he goes, all right, give me some more. And I'm like, no. He's like, well, then if you don't, I'll tell on you for sharing your food. Because there was like a rule, no sharing food because people could get sick.
Is that what would?
And I'm like,
in
I shared it with you, you fucking piece of shit. And that was the kid that bullied me in 4th grade too, that I'm gonna kill in front of his family.
Wait, what is extortion? Did you just
Extortion
get
is like-
extorted? And is that extortion?
That was
he tried to
blackmail?
extort me. Yeah, he tried to extort me. I guess it was blackmail too. Yeah, 'cause he had some
Blackmail
dirt on him.
and extortion.
God, I fucking hate that kid so
Dude,
much.
and you stared him down and you said, I fucking shared it with you.
I said I shared it with you, you piece. Yeah. and
So
like,
you let him tell, right?
he told on me. Yeah, he told on me for sharing food, and I shared it with him.
Oh,
And what did the teacher
what a
do?
Bastard.
Did she punish you
is-
both?
She didn't even care. She was like, you shouldn't share. You can get sick. You know, she didn't really give a shit.
When kids
Tell on me,
tattle like
bitch.
that, I'd
But
be
God,
like, why did Michael give you his snack? Did you ask him for it? Okay, you don't have to answer that. Move along.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that.
Nice.
I wish I had a Deb in my.
I always talk to everybody, and I'm like, I'm every time anybody
I had
misbehaves.
I wish I had a
Man.
time machine so I could bring Deb back to school and have her fight all my battles for
Yeah.
me. Fight all my middle school battles for me.
Wow.
I'll be like,
Kids are just out there being shitty
were
to
saying,
each
what
other,
if-
and I
what if
forgot
you-
that. It
what if-
happens.
Wait, can I just go off on a tangent here? What if you had a time machine and you used it to just have sex with your grandmother, like to go back in time and
Yeah.
fuck your
like
grandmother?
Back to the
Yeah,
Future.
like Back to the Future.
No,
Yeah.
but this is different because in this
He's not
in this
having sex
movie-
with his mom. He's having
No,
sex
yes,
with
it's
his
his grandma.
grandmother.
And also, you forget to pull out and you come inside of her, and then she can't get an abortion. And then when you show up at Thanksgiving, you have some retarded uncle.
We gotta go back, Michael.
Oh my God.
Can we just rewrite Back to the Future with Mike
And you have
being?
That just sounds like it could be on Rick and Morty.
You have to go back
just
and fuck
pitch
your-
that to Rick and
You
Morty.
have to go back and fuck your grandmother, but remember to pull out. But you can't. But it's so good.
Ew, my God.
It's so good that you can't pull it out. Deborah, I know what my fans like. Okay.
pull out your research on
Yeah.
time travel
This
and
should, be a
grandma.
good, this should be a good time as any. Check out Deborah's podcast. It's called SLP's Wine and Cheese. If you have any speech pathologists in your life, it's a good podcast where you can hear about the world of speech
Are you talking into the
pathology.
microphone
Where you can
right
hear
now?
about the world of speech pathology and education. Are we done with this episode yet?
We didn't even talk about Sammy the Bull.
Yeah, we did a little bit.
We didn't get to hear that pedophile clip.
Yeah, play the pedophile. This is so distorted.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll leave. You
That's
guys
part
with
of the
this.
magic, Deb. You never know what's happening.
But then,
there.
okay, so 4 child lies, 5 child is sneaky and tries to get around me. So if you say yes to all of those things, then like that's just green. This guy's a psychopath.
All right, I'm gonna play this clip of this.
And I thought to myself, I said, well, this is going to be easy. This is going to be easy. I'm going to have my own child, my own stepdaughter, which is really not blood related to me. And I'm telling myself these
Let
things.
me know if you want me to
it's not
pause
blood
this.
related to me. When she grows up to be 14, 15 years old, I will have the perfect sexual mate for sexual purposes. Anything else didn't matter. It was sex. That was it.
Yeah.
I know, that's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And like Sammy the Bull doesn't talk like that. So
Yeah, he's a gentleman.
well, he's just like, I had to shoot him. It really messed me up, but that's what I had to do. He's not
Right.
like, oh, I loved every second of it, the adrenaline rush, or anything like that. He just talked about it like it was like a
Yeah, and
cult
he's got to
or
be
an
getting
army.
off telling this reporter too, like recounting it, right? Isn't
I
there
think- well,
something to that?
He's like, so he took pride in the
Yeah.
fact that he was a gangster.
Uh-huh.
So like he was a gangster and that's what a gangster was. So he like that title and what that type of character was. And he also was like, we only kill each other and we understand like if you're in this life you can go any day. So it's like he also lived his life as like, if John Gotti came in here, one of us is leaving in a box and that's just how it's going. It might be me.
Yeah, just not in front of the family.
Honor.
Yeah.
But it is a bunch of, like, she was like, it sounds like high school, Diane Sawyer. And he's like, yeah, but in high school, you throw spitballs at people and we were using bullets.
Yeah.
Because she hit, like, a nerve with him, like, saying that he wasn't cool. Like, it wasn't a cool thing. But to them, they were like, we own this city. Like, we control everything. We have so much power. We are the coolest. And she just, like, trivialized their coolness. And he didn't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was all about ego and pride and power and greed and how that kind of like molds you into a monster. Also, if you do the same thing over and over and every day, you like become desensitized to it.
Right. But you guys haven't had any experience with sociopaths or psychopaths or even like manipulators in your own life?
I certainly have. But most
just
of them,
Andy.
Yeah, really.
Just Andy.
I feel like I don't know many people who are very like aggressive or awful without alcohol. Like I know a lot of alcoholics. Mm-hmm. So I don't know people who without the assistance of a substance act that way just based on like the pleasure of it. Like most people do it because they lost their inhibition. Mm-hmm. So I don't think so. I know substance abusers.
Well, I guess we're getting towards the end of this episode, huh?
Yep, we're good.
Let's talk about the German guy who ate the guy's penis, you know? Folks, I just feel like what two German men do in the privacy of their own home should be their business. And if you want to meet each other on Craigslist and eat each other, eat the guy's balls, there shouldn't be anything
But
wrong
I
with
feel like
that.
you should play a clip
And
of
that guy
Sammy
shouldn't
the
even
Bull.
be in jail. Yeah, I know. We just don't have one ready because Matt fucked up.
All right.
Armin Mivas was a
sent you.
sexual sadist.
2 minutes, 20 minutes in or 27 minutes in? 27 minutes in? I wrote it down in the office. He's talking about, like, owning the city and stuff. Hold on. If you go to the Diane Sawyer interview, at 26 minutes and 27 seconds...
Gulag worst.
27 seconds, he tells you, like, his motivation, really. That was his driving force.
Which one? What does it look like?
I literally controlled Manhattan. When I see it at night, those lights and everything about it, I think of Donald Trump and Fishman and everybody else who couldn't build a building if I didn't want to build it. That got me off. Plus, I made a lot of money with it.
But to get control, Sammy Gravano says he and John Gotti would have to trade in the rules of Cosa Nostra for the law of the jungle. By 1985, he says, they decided to move on their own...
Well, anyway, shout out to a real one, huh?
Yeah.
They don't make them like that anymore.
So, but do you think that...
Now it's all gangs who don't pull their pants up.
Who do you think was worse, though? Do you think John Gotti was worse for revealing everything before the trial that got them caught? Or do you think that Sammy the Bull is worse for like, cutting a deal and being a rat?
I think John Gotti had a sense of like community and giving back, and even though it was kind of all to serve his own ego, I think there's a reason why he's like way more famous and he's more beloved, and I just think he was a great man. You know, it's me, Frank Terranova, and he was a good guy, and he was my hero.
And that probably really pissed off Sammy the Bull because he was all like,
right.
you know, I'm doing all this work and he's getting all the hot like limelight stuff.
Well, you know what's funny is like you look at Deb's uncles, and so she's got 3 uncles that we kind of regularly will hang out with. One lives in Florida, but the other 2 live in Staten Island, and there are 2 that are a little more probably charismatic than the other one. The other one's very cerebral.
Yeah.
And I think the cerebral uncle kind of feels bad that the other 2 brothers get more attention because they're just kind of loud.
Well, they all have
They're
like
loud and
different
funny,
characteristics. One's super funny, one's super musical, and one's super like
into
thoughtful.
Israel.
like
He loves Israel.
He wants
Yeah.
to think a lot.
Yeah, he does.
That would
think a
suck
lot.
to be the least talented.
So they all want to be like the life of the party. No one lacks talent.
Her other uncle calls this uncle Israel. He's like, oh, let's not piss off Israel over here.
Tell everyone what Uncle Edward's favorite hobby is.
What?
in the woods.
Oh, Deb's other uncle will like he makes Bigfoot footprints. And he like dresses up as Bigfoot.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So some poor guy's like, I found Bigfoot. It's just Deb's insane uncle.
Yeah. He's funny.
Well, I guess we'll delve into this a little more.
Yeah. Oh. But I was gonna say. But John
Sounded
John
like you were
Gotti-
doing your wrap-up voice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. John Gotti. Do you at his like at the court? People were like cheering for him and like free John Gotti, and they were playing like the Godfather song. So what do you think of that type of behavior? Do you think?
I don't know, but in that interview, Sammy the Bull was like, I like the Godfather. That really portrayed our life very well. Godfather 1, Godfather 2. The other one stunk.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, the Godfather 3.
Godfather 3
What, people were
sucks.
playing the Godfather theme?
And they were
Yeah.
like,
Those
let
are
him
just-
go.
I
Like
mean,
on a
let him
boombox,
go.
yeah.
He's innocent.
But listen, those are just stupid people because honestly, like what did John Gotti really do for you? He bought you fucking fireworks. Like he made the sky light up, and he bought hot dogs, once a year.
Right, so he had a
Like,
very
they thought-
reward-driven mentality, and he
Right.
manipulated all of them
He
into trusting him.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Because
he
because
might
all
be a
these,
psychopath. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. But all these people are like, John Gotti, he's a great man. He didn't do nothing wrong. He helped the community. It's like, what did he really do for you
Right.
besides keep blacks out of your neighborhood?
You help the community.
And according to this, he had a minimum of 19 murders.
Yeesh.
Yeah.
Or Sammy the Bull.
Sammy the Bull had 19, and he said, but if you're the boss, I mean, they all go under you. You're the one calling the shots.
Yeah, but not really. You know? That's like those
You're-
Enron guys.
Ordering everyone to do it.
Hmm.
You're like, you... That's
It's
why
like, did Steve Jobs make 7 billion iPhones?
Well, we all know
or
he is
did the little
he
Chinese
is a psychopath. He's evil.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like he's also like narcissistic, believing like
Yeah,
he
Steve
could
Jobs didn't even do anything.
do that holistic healing.
Yeah.
Well, he went to college and didn't pay for it. He just
I
went
could have
as
had
a
my
drop-in.
Motorola
He
Razor
said-
the whole time.
I don't need this iPhone
No,
Yeah.
or this MacBook
That I
or
use-
this
that I-
iPad.
that I use every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
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 No, I do. I mean, I told you psychopaths are very intelligent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
No, don't be.
They say like 1 in every 100 people are psychopaths, but 4 out of every 100 CEOs are psychopaths. So 1 in about 25 CEOs are psychopaths.
Well, they're very goal oriented
yeah.
and
Ooh.
focused and driven, so
That's
that
what I
they can
need.
they can achieve things without like concern of hurting others.
Yeah.
And they're like driven by like adrenaline seeking behavior.
Yeah, I want to do that without the hurting others.
Yeah, I don't have
Goal-oriented, yeah.
any sort of. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't have that. So that's how I feel about that.
Did you just try to log into the Patreon?
I sure did.
Yeah. Well,
What, you got an alert that someone's trying to infiltrate the Patreon?
yeah.
Well, I don't know. The password's not working. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening once again.
Yeah.
Email us, sitdownpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you want to hear us talk about and research.
Also, Mike and I have a comedy show every other Thursday.
Every other Thursday. September 13th is our next one in Brooklyn at Bravi Ragazzi at 570 Putnam Avenue. Thank you, sweetheart.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, we do it every week. It's a lot of fun. Come out, free show, get some pizza, hang out.
Yeah.
See our neighborhood. We'll give you a tour of our apartment if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen to my movie podcast, 20-Year-Old Movie.
Matt, shut the fuck up.
We did Dr. Dolittle this week.
Oh.
And it's what if Michael Vick was Dr. Dolittle? It was a fun little riff.
I'm going to be on it in October.
Michael Vick can talk to
Right?
Michael Vick can actually talk to
Yeah.
animals, and he's
Yeah.
like, Michael, I need to fight.
Yeah.
Please.
that was the bit.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
That's a funny.
He was
bit.
like helping the dogs like it was MMA.
Do you know?
See, that's the thing. Stand-up comedy is terrible because you do these bits. They're in the moment. They're funny. You record them. Hopefully, people listen to them. Like stand-up comedy, it's like, and here's my bit about Dr. Dolittle. Did you guys remember the movie Dr. Dolittle?
Yeah.
Well, I have a prepared thing that I'm going to tell 7 drunks.
Do you guys know
about.
who Michael Vick is?
Yeah. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up if you know who Michael Vick is. And then everyone's like, oh, yes. Michael Vick.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. I was eating food.
Yeah.
That reminds me, there's like these kid books that like they're written from the perspective of the villain.
Yeah.
So like there's like Cinderella is so annoying, and like the Three Little Pigs told from the perspective of the wolf. Like it's like
Isn't that Broadway was told? Like
Wicked is no, Wicked is different than that.
Cinderella from The Evil Stepmother. She's like, I give this stupid bitch a fucking room, and I make her clean my floors. And Cinderella's just like talking to mice who don't talk back.
Yeah.
She's just leaving crumbs everywhere in her room.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mice are coming
Like
in.
like workers are dying because all the animals are like killing everybody.
Yeah.
With, like,
It's Aladdin from the point of view of Jafar. And he's like, I just wanted to be openly gay. And I have to pretend that I want to have sex with Princess Jasmine to be powerful.
Because no one accepts my gayness.
Yeah. They just
Why was every
they just did that with Karate
every
Kid.
villain was like that? What?
That Cobra Kai is told from
yeah.
Johnny's perspective.
And that's a Gary Goldman bit, right? Kinda,
yes.
he's like,
yes. Mm-hmm.
What were you saying about Disney villains?
They're all super effeminate. Like Shere Khan from Jungle Book.
They're all closeted homosexuals.
Scar from Lion
Every
King.
Yeah,
every
Scar's
bad-
like
Scar was just a gay-
exhausting.
Yes.
Disaster.
Yeah. You have no idea. Scar was just a gay lion who wanted to, and then he had to live in the poor neighborhood with all the fucking hyenas.
Yeah.
Because his family shunned him.
Yeah,
So
Scar just wanted to become a clothing designer.
He had to
in
get
New York.
he had to get a loft in a hyena neighborhood. And Mufasa was like, "Don't ever go there, Simba. They'll kill you for your cell phone."
Okay. Well, it's 1 a.m.
Dad, are you sure? I don't know. Simba, they'll shoot you. You'll get caught in cross. If you're a lion, you'll die.
What about Hook?
Hook was kind of queer.
Yeah, what was his motive? What?
The boo box. The boo box. Do you remember that scene?
Well, he actually wanted
where he
to-
puts Glenn Close in the boo box. She's like, no.
Was Glenn Close the mom in that movie?
No, Glenn Close had like a little small bit part where she was a pirate that didn't believe in Captain Hook's plan.
That was Glenn Close?
Yeah,
No, it wasn't.
yeah. Look it up, bitch.
Oh.
This is like a fucking...
Was that a 20-year-old movie? 'Cause
No,
you
it
might
wasn't.
know.
I watched
Why
that
would they
every
do-
summer.
Really?
Yeah, every day.
I thought that was a man.
Yeah,
I
she was
thought
playing
it
a
was
man.
guy,
I'll
too.
show you.
Oh.
You don't believe me? I'll show you.
No, I remember that scene. I don't know that it was
I
Glenn
thought it was a
Close.
guy.
Yeah, everyone's like,
I-
boo.
Yeah, there's like creatures in that box.
The only guy who was all man was Gaston.
No, he wasn't. He was so. He's
That
so
guy loved.
obsessed
That
with
guy
himself.
loved.
I would have
pussy.
farted
No,
into
he
the
kept
boo box.
pushing everybody away. He didn't want anyone but Belle. Those triplet sluts were throwing, snatching
Yeah, because he knows
him,
what
and
he
didn't
wants.
want it.
He knows what he wants.
Yeah, he wanted the inventor because he wants a bear.
12 hidden celebrity cameos.
All right,
in
turn
movies.
the recorder off, guys. Support us. Support us on Patreon if you want. I mean, not lately because you probably don't want to support the last few episodes we've done.
Support the Patreon, and I will mail you a copy of
We're gonna-
Copy
Mike's
of my
album.
debut album.
Yeah.
From a long
that I made
time
in
ago.
2009.
Yeah,
He has long
and if,
hair.
And if you support the Patreon, Mike will draw you a picture of something on the new iPad
Yes.
Pro.
Oh yeah, I
You
drew.
still
I,
need to
I
share
drew
that
the
photo,
Italian
yeah.
I
flag.
did. I sent it to
I
you.
drew the
Oh, okay,
Italian
okay.
flag on the iPad Pro. And then also, sitdownpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram @sitdownpod. Let us know who you want us to talk about. Should we even keep this a crime podcast? I don't know.
Well,
Maybe not.
I would like to actually talk about Sam of the Bill, so maybe another time.
All right, another time.
And
Thank
his
you.
daughter, I would like to talk about.
Oh, Karen. Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
an episode on her, on
Okay.
Mob Wives. Yeah.
Sounds
All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.